Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality, and today is the October installment of the Pinspiration collaboration that is hosted by Kreationsby Kimber. I will put all the links for all of the crafty ladies who are involved, all their YouTube channels, down below in the description box. So for this collaboration, we post a video on the last day of every month, and it is a video project share or tutorial on something that we have made from one of our Pinterest pins. And it could be something that we've had on one of our boards for a while that we just haven't had time to make. But for this video, I wanted to show you how to make a really cool tassel. And this tassel can be used on a junk journal or a traveler's notebook or a planner, or just on, it could be like a keychain or whatever. So I made this one, and it is going for a swap that I'm doing with a friend, and it is a sewing theme swap. So I used, it is a tassel made with a vintage thread spool, and or you could buy like a wood spools at Joann's or Michael's, I'm pretty sure. So, but I did have a vintage one, and this is how it turned out. I haven't put a lobster clasp on the top yet, but that I will be doing that so that she could use it in whatever way that she wants to. I have something, I made a three-dimensional sewing machine out of paper, and it was with all of these colors and a really pretty turquoise, black, and white paper pad from Authentique. So that is why I'm doing this, and I'm using these colors. So I used that wooden spool, of course. I wrapped it with paper, and then I used one of these beads, and it's like a faceted bead, and then a metal bead. I used some floral wire that I had in my stash, and then a bunch of different ribbons, trims, laces, and things like that. So if you'd like to learn how to make one of these, it's really pretty simple. Stay tuned and I'll show you what you need to make one. You need your spool, and it doesn't matter what size it is. This is probably about an inch big. It's one of the smaller things of thread, which I think that's what a lot of the vintage ones are, is about this size. So I have this, I have some beads, and then you will need some wire. I just have this floral wire that I'm going to use. That's just to pull the tassel up through to make our little eye at the top. And then you'll need some tools, depending on, you at least need a wire cutters. If you're going to use some beads, you'll need your pliers. And then you'll need all of the things that you want to include in the tassel part. So I have these little pearls, white pearls, that I might use. I have this piece of this black, I'm not even sure what it's made out of, but it's just a really pretty sparkly little scrap that I have. I have some black lace here. I might use this velvet piece here. And then I have some black and white polka dot ribbon. It's a satin. I have this sequin, black sequin. And then I have this turquoise with some sparkle ribbon that was from the Dollar Tree. These two are an Ofray and Celebrate It from Michael's, I believe, or Joann's. And then I have this trim that was from Costco like several years back. It's a black and white floral. And I have my little container here of just scraps that I might pull out if there's some that are long enough. So let's clear this stuff up and we will get started with making our tassel. So to start out, you just want to lay out your pieces and cut them at around 9 inches long. I used my trimmer here to measure them out. They don't have to be all exactly the same length, but just a general 9 inches. And usually with my pieces, if it's a thinner, smaller piece, I'll add 2 to the tassel, and then the wider, thicker pieces, I'll just add 1 piece. So I have various ribbons, like satins and opaque ribbons, and then some thin charms, and then I have these pearl beads, or not charms, but just thin trims. I have a black polka dot ribbon as well as a sequin ribbon and a lace and velvet trim as well. So this ribbon, I'm just going to use 1, and then that sequin trim, I'm just going to use 1 piece for that. The lace is pretty thin, so I'll add 2 of that to this tassel. I really love a full tassel, but the thicker, wider pieces generally don't like to lay very flat, or they're not really wavy, if you know what I mean, or flowy. And then the last piece here is this black and white floral trim. I end up using 2 pieces of this one. And I like this because it tends to curl up a little bit, so it just adds kind of a different dimension to the tassel. Now what you want to do is cut about 1 foot long of your wire, and you're going to lay your pieces across the middle of the wire. And you kind of want to lay them out so they're kind of spaced out from each other, all the different types. If you have 2 of one kind of ribbon, kind of put 1 to one side and 1 to the other, or 1 on top and 1 on the bottom. And then pull your wire up and twist it. And I apologize, there was out of frame there for a second. You just want to pull it tight and twist it at the top, and then kind of make your ribbons and trims and things even on both sides. Now take both ends of the wire and stick them through your thread spool, and go ahead and pull it in as far as you can. Mine was very chunky, so I couldn't get it very far in, but that's fine because you'll be tightening it up at the top. Now you want to take a bigger bead and go ahead and thread that onto both of the wires, and then I added in that silver bead. I thought I wanted to add in a turquoise bead, but ultimately I decided that I didn't like the way that it looked. I didn't have the right kind of bead. Maybe a flat bead would have looked okay, but I couldn't find one that I really liked that I thought looked right. And that one, the smaller ones, just had a hole that wouldn't fit both pieces of the wire. Now you want to pull both wires up and take your round nose pliers and bend it over 90 degrees, and then go ahead and wrap the wires around, making a loop at the top. So you're pretty much just wrapping the wire around itself, and then trim off the end there after you wrapped it around 2 or 3 times. And then I just took those pliers there and kind of squished the end of the wire in, so there wasn't a sharp end poking out. Now you are ready to decorate the thread spool. So I pulled in some of my paper. This was a scrap from the paper pad that I used for my other project. And I'm just going to cut about an inch strip. It's a little shy of an inch. But this will depend on the size of your thread spool. And then I'm wrapping it around and cutting it a little bit longer so it wraps around on itself. And then I'm going to take my tacky glue and put that around on the spool. And I'm going to use my finger and kind of smush it around on the spool so that when I put the paper on there that it will have full coverage. And then just wrap the paper around. And when you get to the end, put some glue on that inside part of that paper and go ahead and stick the end down. The last thing I wanted to do was add a little bit to the paper, and I decided on this sequin trim. At first I wanted to put the whole piece down, but then decided that it was a little bit too wide, so I just went ahead and trimmed it. Decided it was covering up too much of the paper. So I just trimmed off one end, and I ended up sticking the cut end towards the end of the spool. At first I did it the other way, but then decided that I wanted a finished edge that was on the free end. So that's it for this tassel. I hope you liked it, and I hope that it gives you inspiration for one of your projects. Go ahead and check out all the other crafty ladies on this collaboration. Give me a thumbs up on this video, leave me a comment and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality. Bye. God bless.